Hey everybody, happy February. Doug here, one of the hosts, producers, and creators of the Genre of Your Life podcast, bringing you a new segment of the show, the Producer's Playbill. As you already know, we had the full episode of the Genre of Your Life podcast. We had the review roundup episode sometimes, but now I'm bringing you all the Producer's Playbill, kind of like a bit of an audio newsletter, kind of like bonus content that they kind of on the cutting room floor of the normal episode of the podcast. So kind of like the deleted scenes, you would say, of like a DVD or Blu-ray disc. But again, I'm very stoked to bring this new segment to you all. This week I'm talking about the Oscars and kind of just a lot of stuff I didn't get to cover last week's episode of the Genre of Your Life podcast. So I hope you enjoy this new segment of the show. I'm super stoked to talk about, kind of just like ramble on about certain stuff that I've been kind of thinking about a lot in terms of like entertainment, Oscars, the whole shebang. So again, very excited. I hope you enjoyed this segment, like I said. And as always, guys, you can find the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and now I believe it's called YouTube Music, which I believe is the new Google Podcast home, I believe. We also have a full audio show on our YouTube page, youtube.com/Midway Avenue Productions. I know we're still working on the video element of the podcast, hopefully by spring, if not maybe by summer, so look out for that. But again, seriously, as always, guys, seriously, the support you guys have shown us the past year and a half has been just so rewarding, so humbling. So again, as always, don't forget to subscribe, share, review, please rate. That means the world to us. We love hearing your feedback, both good or negative or neutral. We'll take it. But seriously, thank you so much for the ongoing support. It truly means the world to us all at the podcast and the show. So thank you guys so much. Alrighty, guys, like I said, this is the first episode of the Producer's Playbill. Again, super excited to talk about my Oscar stuff, kind of just like my thoughts and stuff like that here and there. It was announced last week that we had the Oscars 2024 were announced, so like the nominations, stuff like that. And you know what? The past couple of years, I don't know, I definitely have not been as interested in award shows the way I used to as a kid. I remember watching them with like my parents and my grandmother and just kind of just like excited to watch like who's going to host who, like Hugh Jackman's going to host this, or it's going to be Seth MacFarlane, or not Charlize Theron, Ellen DeGeneres. Is just like they had a lot of great host, Chris Rock, Billy Crystal, list goes on and on. So I don't think that like I've been as excited for the Oscars the way I used to be as a kid, or even like I would say 10 years ago, maybe as a teenager, like before college. So there's a lot I'm kind of just excited for, obviously, but as the years go on, I feel like a lot of the movies that I just love are not getting recognized by the awards at all, Golden Globes, anything, SAG, Oscars. So I see myself kind of leaning towards a way more of movies that don't get recognized as much by like kind of the mainstream award shows. So, the first thing what I saw last week was, okay, I think I've seen most of the Best Picture nominees of this year. I'm going to pull them up right here too so we can go over them as I speak to you guys. And a lot of surprises for sure. A lot of things I was kind of like, yeah, I kind of figured. But I think though, a lot of things that I've noticed too is just like, there's a lot of movies that just kind of go under the radar for me, like Anatomy of a Fall or Zone of Interest, that I'm not familiar with, but hopefully can catch up on those before the award, the show itself. So let's see, Best Picture right here. American Fiction, which I heard is amazing, but very limited release here in Phoenix. Anatomy of a Fall, I was hearing things about it. I was hearing sort of things about it, but not too familiar with it. Barbie, obviously. I love the Holdovers, which I absolutely loved. Killers of the Flower Moon, which, as you probably heard in my review, not my favorite Leo or DiCaprio, Leo or De Niro or Scorsese movie personally. I still haven't seen Maestro. I'm beating myself up over that. I love Bradley Cooper so much. I love Stars Born so much too. So I've not seen that. I might go see it in theaters, 'cause I think it might be coming back for like the award circuit thing. So I might kind of just wait, not watch it on Netflix, and go see it on the big screen. So look out for that. Oppenheimer, as you all probably heard too, that was in all of our top 10s. Myself, Moses, Nick, and Joel. Great movie. Saw it twice in IMAX. Worth seeing in IMAX if you can still see in the 1:4:3 aspect ratio. Past Lives, not familiar with it, but I was hearing great things about it. I want to catch up on that. Poor Things, I'm hearing amazing things from my friends and co-workers and colleagues and just people I follow in the business. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. Hopefully I can catch that before it leaves theaters as well. But same thing, very limited release we got here in Phoenix for that movie. And again, Zone of Interest, not familiar with that movie at all. So again, got a lot to catch up on before the award show, but I'm definitely looking forward to seeing Poor Things as well as Maestro, as well as American Fiction too. Hearing great things about that, so those will definitely be on my top of my list to check out before the award show, which I believe is Sunday, March 10th. Alrighty, so again, I have some thoughts to that. That was the best picture stuff, but what's the one I have my notes that I was like, you know what? After hearing like the nomination stuff, and I was like, huh, interesting. And as probably every other podcast, every other film critic probably said, they have probably a lot of thoughts and opinions as well. But right off the bat, I'll say this, Barbie liked a lot. I didn't love it. Wasn't in my top 10, but I know how impactful that movie is. It's a lot of fun to watch. I enjoyed it for just kind of the acting and the production design, just like it was a good summer blockbuster. I mean, also a lot more to it as well. But I will say though, I really was surprised about Greta Gerwig not getting nomination for best directing. Say what you want about the movie or how you feel about it. I do think that how she was able to kind of capture that movie, and it's like you kind of see her as a filmmaker. Has definitely grown a lot since Lady Bird to Little Woman to this, and any filmmaker, Denis Villeneuve, Tarantino, Christopher Nolan, Spike Lee, anyone, you like seeing progression, you like seeing filmmakers kind of just evolve into their voice, into their style, and as someone who loves Lady Bird, who I really like Little Women a lot, you definitely see her really become just a great filmmaker, and I think same with Jordan Peele off the bat with Get Out, and then with Us, and then with Nope, which I love Nope more and more when I watch it. So I definitely have seen the evolution of her as a filmmaker, and I think that definitely surprising that she didn't even get a nomination. Again, haven't seen Poor Things. I thought Christopher Nolan's one of my top favorite filmmakers of all time, so I'm glad I got nominated as he should have. But what was the directing? Let's see. Yeah, Poor Things I've not seen. I'm not a big, I'm looking forward to seeing it. But again, I watched The Favorite. I wasn't the biggest fan of that movie. I heard The Lobster is very weird. Also the Killed of the Sacred Deer or whatever. So I don't know. He's not really my jam in terms of movies and filmmaking and kind of his style. It's very kind of just a little bizarro for me. But again, just hearing all the hype around Poor Things, I'm looking forward to seeing just because of that. I also love Emma Stone and Gerard Carmichael and Willem Dafoe. List goes on and on. But one that I was surprised with was Zone of Interest, which I really have no knowledge about at all. So take what you will with that. But also Anatomy of a Fall too, didn't really know much about it, stuff like all the hype around it, but not familiar with it at all. And again, Kills of the Flower Moon, as you probably know my earlier episodes of the podcast, Martin Scorsese, I had two of his movies on my top 10 with Wolf of Wall Street as well as Goodfellas. I don't think this was his best directed movie either. So I think I would have kept Christopher Nolan. I guess you would keep Yorgos, but I don't know. I do think that she definitely deserved one of those spots because of her evolution as a filmmaker, but also too that this was a movie of the summer. This was the movie, right? Right in front of Oppenheimer. Everyone's talking about this movie. This was a big deal when it was announced, to the execution, to the development, to the whole thing. So I was very surprised that she wasn't nominated for that. Yeah, she's nominated for producer, obviously, because she produced the movie, because it's Best Picture. But, I don't know. I truly do think that she should have got a nomination, because I think we have definitely seen her just really kind of just evolve as a filmmaker from a low budget A24 to mid-tier Sony Pictures Little Women remake to Barbie, which is a bigger budget studio movie. I think a nomination definitely was definitely snubbed of her, and I'll definitely stand by that opinion throughout the year. And one thing that I definitely noticed too, and I think if you go back and hear my Barbie review back in July, Margot Robbie is one of my favorite actresses of all time. I think she's, from my first star in Wolf of Wall Street to I, Tonya to Bombshell to Babylon. She got snubbed from Babylon too, but fantastic actress. She has. I love her as Harley Quinn. I love Birds of Prey. Love Suicide Squad. I don't think Barbie was her best role. I'll stand by that too. I think that she got outshined by America Ferrera, Ryan Gosling, obviously. So although I love her as an actress, I don't think her performance was anything special. I mean, it definitely was like, very. You can tell this is a big passion project for her. She produced it. She is the heart of the movie to a degree, along with all the Barbies and all the Kens and Greta Gerwig. Everyone's heart is in that movie, no matter what. So I definitely was not too surprised by her not getting nominated, because I think I've seen better performances from her. I thought her performance in Babylon is masterful, and that was overlooked in every aspect of the Academy Awards last year. The movie is phenomenal. Go back and watch it. Damien Chazelle kills it. I hope the movie gets more love as the years goes on, because it's a very, very misunderstood and very slept on movie. But I thought she was fantastic. So I do think that she wasn't the strongest thing about Barbie, but again, also got a nomination as a producer because for Best Picture because she produced the movie. So I wasn't too upset about that. I was definitely more upset. I was definitely more bummed about Greta Gerwig not getting a directing nomination. So that's my thought. One thing I did notice too is that with the Greta Gerwig thing, I went back and I was like, wait a second, this happened kind of recently too. When Dune came out in 2021, and you guys probably know, Denis Villeneuve, one of my favorite filmmakers of all time. I idolize this guy, I admire this guy, from Prisoners to Blade Runner, 2049 to Sicario, Arrival, Dune. Like this guy, I'm immersed by his filmmaking. Like I remember seeing his first really kind of major movie, which was Prisoners, in high school, and I was just like, oh my god, I was just mesmerized by this movie. This movie stuck with me for so many years. And you probably heard me talk about this all the time on the podcast, that later on 2049 changed my life, changed how I saw movies, changed how I saw cinematography, editing, sound design, score. It's the reason why I love IMAX even more. That was an experience like no other. So I went back and I was like, wait a second. In Dune in 2021, Dune got like all these nominations, like so many nominations, so many like great things, cinematography, editing, like literally everything, Best Picture, but he didn't get Best Director. And I was like, what? And I remember hearing another podcast, I think it was Real Blend with Kevin, Sean, and Jake. And they were saying that this movie is incredibly directed, but masterfully directed, but really no director nomination. And I was like, it kind of feels like that. I mean, it's a little different, I understand, with Barbie and Dune, but I was like, yeah, they didn't reward Denis for a hell of a job he did on Dune. And I was like, that's so weird. But I get back to like, how did Argo win Best Picture and not Ben Affleck getting director nomination? And despite Live by Night, I think Ben Affleck is also a great filmmaker. From The Town, Gone Baby Gone, Argo, and then To Air. Phenomenal filmmaker as well as an actor, if you ask me. So that was also kind of thing like, wow, they reward these movies, but not the directors. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's more of like a deeper meaning behind all this, but it's weird. It's definitely weird. And I was like, I guess we're doing this. So Greta snub definitely reminded me of Denis' thing. They had nominated her for Best Director back to Lady Bird. You would think that she would also kind of have that kind of weight of like, hey, I was nominated back in 2018 for Lady Bird. I don't know. I would have thought that she's already kind of like in the system in terms of Best Director nominated for Best Director. You would think they'd give her, let her get the nomination again. But it's, I don't know. Like I said, she definitely has progressed a lot as a filmmaker, leveled up as a filmmaker, and it's reminding me of that. Of like, wait, how did that not get? So it's kind of beyond me. And I think it happened with Christopher Nolan too. I could be wrong. Let me see. I think Inception. I think Inception also same thing. Let's see. I don't know. Let's check. All right, Inception. That was like the movie of the year too. I mean, the summer. Like, oh my gosh. Like, yeah, same thing. Not best writing, best original screenplay, best picture as a producer, but not best director. And I don't know what that is, but this must be a pattern or something that they just don't want to reward. They just don't reward the filmmakers that bring these movies to life. But I digress. what really bummed me out, I also think bummed out, film Twitter, was that why wasn't Ironclaw? Ironclaw got nothing. And you guys heard me rave about this movie. If you haven't, if you're hearing the show for the first time, I love this movie. This movie was a big surprise to me. Not being a wrestling fan, not really kind of sold by the trailers, not knowing the story. I was captured by this movie. I was just like in awe of this movie. I'm still thinking about it like a month after seeing it, and I'm just like, really? I thought Zach's performance got snubbed. I think he was overlooked in so many different categories, so many different ways, but nothing just flat out surprised me. I think it deserved best picture, cinematography, score, best acting, a lot of things, and for them not giving it anything just baffles me. Zach Efron poured his heart and soul into this performance, and that just kind of struck me the wrong way. But it reminded me a lot of back in 2020 when Uncut Gems got nothing. And I said, really? And everyone's talking about how this is like Sandler's best performance. This is his turn as an actor. This is the one. Nothing. I remember being in LA during that time too, and everyone's just like, yeah, what did Sandler got nothing. That movie also got movie I love too. Uncut Gems got nothing. Safdie's got nothing. And I'm just like, Lakeith Stanfield got nothing. And I'm like, there's so many great things about this movie that got overlooked. And I was just, again, it seems like another pattern of like these A24 movies that come out at the end of the year kind of get nothing. And I just was really kind of bummed that Zach got nothing, but the movie itself got nothing too. But again, you said it reminded me a lot of how upset I was when Uncut Gems that the Academy didn't give any recognition to Sandler or the movie whatsoever. And that's definitely Sandler's best performance as like an actor in his whole filmography. I love Big Daddy and I love Happy Gilmore, but like his turn in Uncut Gems is very remarkable. It's very electrifying. So it reminded me a lot of that. So yeah, bummed about that too. So yeah, right. People were kind of saying like, oh, like Leo got snubbed too. Leo got a nomination. Okay, first off, Leo, who I like a lot, one of the best actors of his generation, obviously, of our time, one of the last few movie stars. You heard my review? Didn't hear my review? I said it was very loud and clear. I thought this was his weakest performance. I thought he should have won for Wolf of Wall Street, not Revenant, from Departed, Catch Me If You Can. I've seen Leo in so many more amazing movies and way better performances that him not getting a nomination for Kills of the Flower Moon, not surprising whatsoever. I don't think he deserved it. I don't think it was his best performance. I thought it was very weak. I thought it was very uninteresting. I thought it was very just not his best work. And people were like, "Oh, why he got so snubbed?" I think that's how it should have been. I thought Lily Gladstone is the heart and soul of that movie. I thought she was phenomenal. I thought De Niro was even better. And DiCaprio at times, I didn't see anything special in that performance. That might be a little controversial. It might be a little kind of just like, wait, no, what? No way. Yeah, that's how I saw it. That's how it is. I'm not too butthurt about that. About him getting snubbed. I don't think he deserved it. I think, again, I said I've seen him in way better stuff. What really kind of bummed me out a lot, kind of similar to Iron Claw, was that Saltburn got nothing. And, Saltburn is a movie that, again, it's been it's an original movie that's been so highly discussed and talked about. And I called this in my reaction when I saw it back in November. I said, this movie is going to have a ton of discourse. There's going to be so much discussion about it. People will be talking about it, the way you leave the theater, the way you see it on streaming, the way you kind of talk about with your friends and fellow moviegoers. And I was right. There's been so much discourse of that movie as soon as it came out in a wider release. And then once it hit Amazon Prime last month, people were just talking about it nonstop. And I was like, I kind of called this, I kind of predicted this in a lot of different ways. But that movie getting 0 nominations also baffles me. I thought that at least that the movie Emerald Fennell was gonna get a best original screenplay because it's an original screenplay, theatrical release movie. I thought her writing was very top tier. It was very sharp. It reminded me a lot of like young Tarantino in terms of like Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs, stuff like that. Like it was that kind of just like the spirit of that. And again, she also won Best Screenplay for Promising Young Woman back in 2021. I would have thought that she was going to get nomination for, kind of like, and you're kind of like in the legacy of it was, you won before, might as well kind of get for the nomination as well. Nope, nothing. And that really caught me by surprise. My top 10, Saltburn was number 9, I believe. Love the movie. I know it's very polarizing, it's very divisive, but it worked for me in all different ways. Even the nasty stuff, even the kind of disturbing stuff, it just stuck with me. And I still 2 months later, that something about that movie whenever I saw it, 3 months later now, and seeing all the kind of hype it caused around this on TikTok and on Instagram and Twitter or X, whatever it's called now. It was a moment. And what I saw on Twitter or X, whatever too, was that this person was saying that, like, can we appreciate, despite how you feel about the movie, that an original movie like this is making waves. Like, people are talking about it. Like, it's almost like a moment. So for that no nomination, really kind of rubbed me the wrong way as well. And I also thought Rosamund Pike was phenomenal, and might be a little hot take, controversial, was that, Emily Blunt, who I admire, who I love Emily Blunt, one of my favorite actresses of all time. I thought that Rosamund Pike gave a better performance as an actor in Saltburn than Emily Blunt did in Oppenheimer. In Oppenheimer, I thought that she was good, but I thought she was kind of underutilized and was given a lot to do. When she's in her scene, she's great, don't get me wrong. But what Rosamund Pike has to do when she has to kind of like, just express, and what she's kind of, who she is as a character, and her kind of like mannerisms and her kind of like her ways, was electrifying. It was one of the best performances I've seen in all last year. And I would definitely give Rosamund Pike the Oscar nom than Emily Blunt. And I love both these actresses, but I thought Rosamund Pike just was truly phenomenal, and it kind of breaks my heart that got nothing. She got nothing. But yeah, it is what it is. And the one thing I'll say too is that, I'm not a documentary person as much. I'll watch it here and there, but like for docuseries and documentaries, you really gotta like lure me in. You gotta pull me in. You gotta say, hey, what do I got for you? And I thought the David Holmes documentary was phenomenal. David Holmes, you don't know, he was Daniel Radcliffe's stunt double on all the Harry Potter movies, and on the last one, they're training for the last one. Accident happens, and unfortunately, David Holmes. Accident happens on set, and David Holmes is now paralyzed for the rest of his life from I think it was waist down, but I think one of his arms is also now paralyzed. It's a phenomenal documentary. I was tearing up at times. I was very emotional because I grew up with Harry Potter, but not knowing this man's story and not knowing what happened was really shocked me, and just stuck with me since I saw it back in November. And this documentary is beautifully made. It's a deep look into this man's life, why he wanted to be a stuntman, his career, his impact on Hollywood, impact on the Harry Potter franchise. And I think it deserves a lot more love and attention in general. But David's journey and the sheer commitment he had to the film industry, it's remarkable. And I think the Academy did not give this movie a chance or not look more into it. I thought it was a phenomenal documentary, and it's a shame that's not getting more love, because I'm not a big documentary person. I would recommend this to anyone. If you're not a Harry Potter fan, not a movie fan, I don't care. It's worth the watch in general. So please see this movie. If you haven't seen it, it's on HBO, it's on Max. Watch it. Daniel Radcliffe produced it. He's also in it sometimes. Obviously archive footage, but also in it like present day. It's a phenomenal documentary. It's a shame that was kind of snubbed as well. So those are my kind of quick thoughts, at the reading the nominations last week. And, agree, don't agree. Trust me, I understand. But this year I was kind of like, I got a lot to say this. And luckily we have the podcast now. So I'm like, you know what? I got you. So we had the podcast last year too, but we didn't discuss it as much last year. We're still kind of finding our footing this time last year, but that's how I see it. But Let's go over some of the nominations again, real quick. So, again, actor leading role: Bradley Cooper, Maestro; Coleman Domingo, who I love; Rustin; Paul Giamatti, who I just adore so much; Holdovers; Cillian Murphy; Oppenheimer, who's great; Jeffrey Wright, also a big fan of American Fiction. I heard he's a phenomenal American Fiction. Out of all those, I would give it for Paul Giamatti. I love Cillian Murphy. I thought he was great as Oppenheimer, but what Paul Giamatti has done his career, also the performance in Holdovers is something very, very special. It's heartwarming. You feel for this guy at times. Again, I think Cillian might win, but I would love to see Paul Giamatti win it because I think he's just a phenomenal actor. And I thought he was I thought he was phenomenal in the Holdovers. Yeah, let's see what's next. I'm not gonna go over all of them. Let's go over the ones that I think are the major ones. Okay, actor and supporting role. Let's see. Here we go. Sterling K. Brown, phenomenal actor. He's great in American Fiction. Let's gotta watch it. De Niro. Again, De Niro, who's made some pretty crappy movies the past couple of years. I'm glad to see him in an actual good movie. I thought he was definitely better than DiCaprio, but not as good as Lee Gladstone. So, yeah, I see it. Downey Jr. Love. Has watched this guy almost all my life. He's phenomenal. Oppenheimer. He really is his performance in this is very riveting. So he probably will win. Ryan Gosling, who I adore, who I love, my second favorite actor, right behind Bradley Cooper. He's phenomenal in Ken and Barbie. Probably also Mark Ruffalo, Poor Things. Look forward to seeing that. But again, Mark Ruffalo's pretty good in a lot of stuff too. But we'll see when I see when I see that movie. But I will probably go with Downey Jr. because I thought he was gay as him and as Strauss and Oppenheimer is just it's a hell of a performance. When I saw it back in July at the screening, I was like, oh yeah, this is his Oscar year. And I love Ryan Gosling, love him as Ken, but Downey Jr. has this in the bag for sure. Next up, we have an actress in a leading role. Annette Bening, which I heard people were saying, huh? Like, for Naiad, people were like, what? Lily Gladstone for Kills of the Flower Moon. I think she has this in the bag. I thought she was phenomenal in Kills of the Flower Moon, not being familiar with her as an actress before. I thought she really is the heart and soul of that movie. Sandra, probably what's her last name, Hüller, Anatomy of a Fall. I haven't seen the movie yet. But if I watch it or when I watch it, we'll see. But from what I've heard, it doesn't seem like my kind of movie. But I'll give it a chance. Carey Mulligan, phenomenal actress. She's great. Maestro. Looking forward to seeing that. And then Emma Stone, who I absolutely adore and love as well. Looking forward to seeing her in Poor Things. So I'll definitely talk more about it when I see that movie. All right. So actress in a supporting role. Let's see. Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer, as you just heard. I thought it should have been Rosamund Pike for Saltburn, but I digress. Danielle Brooks, The Color Purple. Missed this out when it came to theaters. It was a really short release. I went to go see it maybe a week or two after it came out. It was already gone in my local theater, so I was like, that sucks. So I hope I can see it before the Academy Awards. America Ferrara, who I thought was really great in Barbie. I thought she had better performance than Margot in the movie. So I'm glad she got that performance. Jodie Foster, Naiad. Haven't seen the movie. Jodie Foster's a great actress, obviously, great filmmaker. Haven't seen it. But the one who has my vote, who I would love to see win, is Davine Joy Randolph for the Holdovers. When I saw the Holdovers back in October, I said, oh my goodness, this is a hell of a performance. I remember seeing her at Office Christmas Party, the show called The Idol, which was a terrible show. I thought she was the best part of that show, next to the music. She is remarkable in the Holdovers. She has so much heart. She has so much layers to that movie. I think she's gonna win this, and I'm gonna be so happy when she does because it's just a beautiful performance from an actor, and she does a phenomenal job. And seeing the Holdovers now twice, she offers so much. She gives so much in her performance, and it's truly one of the best performances I've seen in maybe the past decade. And she's phenomenal. So I'm rooting for her, and I hope she wins. And there goes my browser. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Feature film. Animated feature film. Let's see. The Boy and the Heron. I haven't seen that. Elemental. I haven't seen it. Nimona, I haven't seen it. Robot Dreams, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I was surprised at the Golden Globe that The Boy and the Heron won because I That Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse had this in the bag, given the gorgeous animation of that movie and the artistry and the craftsmanship of those movies, and the first one being an Oscar winner. I would love to see Spider-Man win again. I think I liked it way more than the first one. It was also my top 10. I love Phil Lord and Chris Miller, but for some reason, this Boy in the Heron by Studio Ghibli kind of came out of nowhere at the last minute, and now it seems to be winning all the awards. So I think the Boy in the Heron will probably win, but I would love to see Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse win. So just the animation, and also just me being a major Spider-Man fan, that would just make me happy again. But yeah, we'll see. All right, cinematography, which again, thanks to Roger Deakins and Denis Villeneuve and Blade Runner 2049, I pay attention to cinematography more than I ever have. Let's see, El Conde by Edward Lachman, I heard of it. Kills of the Flower Moon, Rodrigo Prieto, who also shot Barbie. Maestro, Matthew Libatique, who shot the hell out of Star is Born. Oppenheimer, Hoyt van Hoytema, who from Interstellar, Tenet, Dunkirk, Nope, phenomenal cinematography, some phenomenal DP, and then Poor Things, Robbie Ryan. I'm going to give it to Hoyt van Hoytema, because I think he has transcended cinematography as well as using the IMAX cameras. He has been a huge innovator for IMAX and shooting IMAX, and all his movies that I've seen him shoot, even Ad Astra, he shot the hell out of Ad Astra, but from Nope, Tenet, all his movies he's done with Chris Nolan, I think is going to be his year. So I hope to see him get an Oscar win for Oppenheimer, because he shot the hell out of that movie. All right, cinematography. Which one we do next? As you hear my little rant about Greta Gerwig not getting nominated for Best Director. Again, it's Anatomy of a Fall, Justine Triet, Killers of the Flower Moon, Martin Scorsese, Oppenheimer, Christopher Nolan, Poor Things, Yorgos Lanthimos, and Zone of Interest, Jonathan Glazer. I'm giving this to Christopher Nolan. I think he should have won for either Inception, or no, he should have won for Dark Knight, 100%. But that movie also, just at the time, was not getting Best Picture nomination. It's the whole thing. But I think that this is definitely although it's not my favorite Christopher Nolan movie, I would put Interstellar and Dark Knight and Tenet over that. He directed the hell out of Oppenheimer. It is a masterclass in directing and filmmaking, and no one can take that away from him. No one can disagree with that. And I think that this is his year that he's not going to get it. That he will get it, because just of the craftsmanship and the fact that a biopic about a dialogue-heavy atomic bomb Oppenheimer movie nearly grossed $1 billion. Kind of shows that this dude knows what he's doing, at the top of his game right now, despite doing one of the best trilogies of all time with the Dark Knight trilogy, or a phenomenal movie like Interstellar, or mind-bending like Inception, or World War II biopic, intense biopic of Dunkirk, and obviously Tenet, which I think is very misunderstood. And also, please see Tenet in IMAX. If you IMAX near you, they're doing a reissue of that. Go see it. If you missed out on it when it came out during COVID, go see it. See it in IMAX. It's awesome. It's worth the price of admission. So I would definitely think Oppenheimer will definitely win, and then Chris Nolan will get his first Oscar win as a director, and again, rightfully so. All right, we directing? Is that already? I'll probably do a few more. So film editing, Anatomy of a Fall, haven't seen it. Lawrence Chenhall, haven't seen it. Holdovers, Kevin Tent. Kills of the Flower Moon, I'm butchering her probably his name, Thelma Schoonmaker. Oppenheimer, Jennifer Lane, and Poor Things, Yorgos Marvos Priest. Probably butcher that name too. I would probably give it either Holdovers or Oppenheimer, personally. Both really great editing. I can see Oppenheimer take it, but if Holdovers wins the editing, I'll be very happy as well. All right, so let's see what went next. I'm trying to think. Let's say music, original score. Okay, score I was very intrigued by too. I think I was very surprised that Daniel Pemberton didn't get anything for Spider-Verse. That was also a bit of a snub. American Fiction, Laura Cartman, Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny, which I thought was fine. John Williams. John Williams is one of the GOATs, obviously one of the legends. Robbie Robertson, Kills of the Flower Moon. Oppenheimer, Ludwig Göransson. And then Poor Things, Jerskin Fendrix. I'm giving this to Ludwig. I think Ludwig won for Black. He won for Black Panther, rightfully so. It was a tremendous score. He's seeing this guy's transition too from producing albums for Childish Gambino, Donald Glover. I mean, and then from Community to Black Panther to Creed to Fruitvale Station, now to Tenet and Oppenheimer. The score is awesome. The score is sticks with you. And I think that he's also again evolved a lot as a composer from, like I said, from those movies to being a producer on Childish Gambino's albums to sitcoms to now Oppenheimer. It's again, I think that the score really pairs well with the movie, and I think that it adds a lot to the character Oppenheimer. So yeah, I'm giving that to Ludwig Göransson. Alrighty. All right, music original song. The Fire Inside from Flamin' Hot. Never saw that. I'm Just Ken from Barbie. Never Went Away. From American Symphony. Jeez, can't speak today. Song for My People by Kills of the Flower Moon. And What I Was Made For from Barbie by Billie Eilish and Phineas. Yep, Billie Eilish. She that song spoke a lot this summer. You heard it everywhere. Billie Eilish is a phenomenal singer, and she has won a lot of the awards for Best Original Song. And she also won for No Time to Die back a couple years ago. Yep, so I'm giving this to Billie Eilish and Phineas for What I Was Made For Barbie. So, yeah. Okay, so Best Picture I'll go last. Production Design. Barbie, Kills of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, Oppenheimer, Poor Things. I would give this to Barbie. Barbie's production design is out of this world. All the sets they had to build and just a lot of the practical stuff too was very, very remarkable. I go to Barbie in a heartbeat. This is my review. So I thought Barbie was, the production design was out of this world. So definitely hope to see that win. All right, let's see. Visual effects. Let's see. The Creator. That was probably nerdy. The Creator. Godzilla minus one. Guardians 3. Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. Napoleon. Creator. The Creator looked phenomenal. Love that movie. That was in my top 10. Really proudly in my top 10. Movie that was underappreciated when it came out. It's sad that original filmmaking is dying, including that movie. But the VFX on that is also out of this world. Literally out of this world, because the AI, the practical with visual effects were just blended so well together. I hope that wins at least something, because that movie is when came out, no one saw it, and if you watch it on Hulu, watch it. It is awesome. It's a phenomenal science fiction movie. All right, so let's see. Writing adapted screenplay. This is gonna be tough. So yeah, American Fiction by Cora Jefferson. Barbie by Greta Gerwig, Noah Baumbach. I love Greta Gerwig. Noah Baumbach, to me, I'm not a fan of. I think his writing is very dull and very bland, if you ask me. But again, hot take. Oppenheimer by Christopher Nolan, who's based off a book. Poor Things by Tony McNamara, who wrote the hell out of Cruella. Great writer. Zone of Interest by Jonathan Glazer. This is tough. For some reason, I would like to see it either win for either Barbie or Oppenheimer, so I can give you a definite answer. But I think Poor Things might win just because Poor Things seems to be like the screenplay. Everyone loves the script and stuff like that. So my choice would be a tie between Barbie and Oppenheimer, but I think Poor Things might win. So we'll see on Oscar night. Original screenplay. Oh man, I mean, Not Even a Fall by Justine Tourette and Arthur Harari. Again, probably butchering these last names. Holdovers by David Hemmingson, which I would love to see Holdovers win. Maestro by Bradley Cooper and Josh Singer. Haven't seen it, but can't wait to see it. May December by Sammy Birch. Story by Sammy Birch and Alex Mechanic, and then Past Lives by Celine Song, which I heard also was amazing. May December, I think I fell asleep in. I haven't gone back to it yet. Probably should. Again, can we see Maestro? Looking forward to seeing Past Lives. Probably will watch Enemy of Fall now. Who knows? I would love to see the Holdovers win. I would love to see the Holdovers win. Holdovers would be phenomenal. That script is so sharp and so witty and it's so lovable. But I think it's won all the awards, so I think Enemy of a Fall is going to win Best Original Screenplay, but I would love to see the Holdovers win. Oh, that would make me so happy, but I don't see it happening. But all right, here we go. Last one, Best Picture. American Fiction, as we said, American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, it's a little recap, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest. I would love to see The Holdovers win. I would make me so happy that movie won. That movie deserves everything. But I think it's going to be Oppenheimer. I think Oppenheimer, the way that movie just transcended audiences, the way it kind of held its own against Barbie when they came out. I think everyone's saying how this movie just masterfully directed, acted, cinematography, set design, score, everything. It's literally one of the rare biopics that just kind of it transcends why we go to the movies and the importance of historical biopics and dramas. So I, again, love to see Holdovers win as my second favorite movie of the year or third favorite movie of the year. I think it was two or three. One of them. But I think Oppenheimer might be getting it. And you know what? I would be cool with that too. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if we have a huge kind of surprise this year. But again, Holdovers are my choice, but I would probably say Oppenheimer would probably win Best Picture. So yeah, guys, that is my little recap of the Oscars and kind of just my little thoughts and rants and rumblings. So I hope you enjoy that. I'll talk about it a bit more, come close to the Oscars itself with the guys on the main show of the podcast. But yeah, we'll see. But again, like I said, I am looking forward to seeing what happens this year. Hopefully anything crazy, any more slaps, or who knows. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this first episode of the Producer's Playbook, Playbill. I have a lot more in store for these for you all. So be tuned. Make sure you have notifications on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Amazon. So look out for that. And like I said, we have a lot to discuss this February. So tune out for all our episodes, our reactions, our reviews. And as always, guys, we will see you at the movies.